Welcome back to exercise session of the CDAMP course. You can find all the exercises for each session on github.com/manuelgadi Clarendon Global _CDAMP. And there we have a CDAMP underscore exercises, and we now visiting session 2. I recommend that you download specifically this one and start working on your Jupyter notebook. So you download the whole Clarendon Global directory with all the exercises. So you open your Jupyter and we go for exploratory data analysis here, and you take your time trying to do the exercise. And then of course you come to this part of the course where I'm going to try to resolve all the questions that you have, or solve the questions that we have proposed here. First is write a code to import a Python library, a Python package, or Python library. So to do that, let's go and write a little code here. So we need the word import. Import the name of the library. So there are several libraries that come pre-installed in the base environment in Anaconda, and we're going to import pandas. If we import pandas, pandas will be used as pandas name. So pandas dot read underscore CSV, pandas dot data frame, and so on and so forth. We normally like to use alias for the libraries, so the name is shorter and is standardized out there. So pandas SPD is one of the options. We can import more libraries. We cannot put in the same line. We shouldn't put it in the same line. So we should put in the next line, import, for example, SQLite 3. This is another library, and we can import even another library called NumPy SNP. We can run all those codes, and if you remember, I'm going to create a new line here, and if I run dir here, it will say that I'm going to put it with a print so that it looks nicer for me. And here the libraries pandas, SQLite 3, and NumPy are not available yet, but if I import and I rerun this Python dir here, I will see that they will become available when the import finishes. Now I have NPPD and SQLite 3 available for my use going forward. Next exercise, read an Excel file into my data. So inside the folder CDAMP underscore exercises, you can find several databases inside the folder data. So the folder data offers you Excel file, JSON file, SAS file, and a SQL file. So let's go back here to our exercise, and it says how to read an Excel file. So to read an Excel file, we go there and do first pd.read underscore Excel. Read underscore Excel. We need the name of the file. So the file there, if I remember well, was called yahoo.xls. So I need quotation here because it's going to be a text. yahoo.xls. And if I try to run this, the library works, but the file is not correct because the file is not in the same directory as my Jupyter notebook. So I need to put data slash here, /, and this works and reads my file into and makes a print. And I can also use \, it doesn't really matter. if it's forward slash or backslash, what you put here. The problem here is that this data, it's being read, but it's not being assigned to anything. So we normally assign that to a pointer, to an object. And this is my object here that I can use it later. So I can do df head 2 here, and I can get this, read the data and present the first 2 rows of that data. How do I go and read a SAS data set? So a SAS data set, it should be pd read underscore SAS and no more. And then we get the same problem there. We need the name of the file. So the file has a funny name here, very long, so I'm copying it to avoid going and having to type all this name. And this data set is inside the data folder. So you go here and type data, and same thing happens. It reads the file with a lot of data. However, it's not being assigned. So because we have so many data frames so far, it would be ideal that, by the way, I go back here and I say Yahoo, df Yahoo. So in the next read I do, I don't miss the name. I don't override the data. I don't lose the pointer to the data. So here it's going to be my little SAS. So I go df data frame SAS head 2. And here we go. And here we have it. How do we go and read as a SQL database? So a SQL database is a little bit more complicated because the SQL database needs me to connect to the database first. So first of all, to be frank, it would ideally, I should import SQLite 3 here. And then once I have SQLite, I need the connector. So my connector to the SQLite, it's going to be SQLite 3 dot connect, and then I have to give the direction, the path to that data set. So the path to that data set again, let me go there, and the data set, the name of the data set is this. It's not showing the name here, company data. It's not showing the .db at the end here, but there is a .db there. So you have to say company underscore balance sheet underscore db dot d that, and we have the connector. Now I'm able to read SQL. And how do I do that? I do go with pd read SQL, and I have to provide here a SQL query and then the connector. So connector goes here, and a SQL query could be select all data from the table that I'm interested. So the table there is called balance sheet. And here we go. It's going to connect, read the data for me. But again, I haven't assigned it to anything. So I'm better off assigning it to SQL like that. And then I go and do df SQL add 2. And here we go. How do I go and read data from HTML? So I read HTML, as long as it's tables, I can read it from any page. something like I can go here in Google and search for a page that I like, and Wikipedia, let's look for Wikipedia and say Wikipedia about Python. And there is a page on Wikipedia about Python, and choose Wikipedia in English here. I have a table here that we can search for all the tables that we get. I'm just gonna grab this page here and look for that table. So how do I go and do that? What I need is to go back here. Here's what I'm putting it. I need pd.read_html. Welcome to our little HTML here. And I need the URL for that page, just the URL. And with that URL, it will give me all the tables coming out of that. So I like to call it list of data frames. So it's not a data frame, it's a list of data frames. So I'm going to create a new one here. And that in that list, I can go and say, by the way, let me get the element 0 there, the first table. And this is a first table with the Python developer himself, Guido van Rossum here. And then I can say, this is data frame HTML equals to the first data frame. And the first table, I could get any of the tables that I'm interested. And then I do df HTML.head2, and I can see the first rows of that table there. Very nice, directly from the internet. You go there and you can practice on your own and do it as well. Next, what we can do is the next exercise is go and read a JSON data. So a JSON data, we do have one here for us, ready for us, that is called default.json format here, default.json. So what I need is, again, pd read JSON, and then I need the name of that file. The name is default.json, default.json. Don't forget, it is inside a directory called data. And now we can go and read it. And again, df JSON, and we're ready to go with df underscore JSON and 2, and we have the first 2 lines of that data frame. We have read many data frames, and if I now go and say dir here with a print dir, I should open and close parentheses. I should see all of them. The original df, but the df HTML, df JSON, df SAS, df SQL, df Yahoo. All of them are still available here. I haven't lost them. They are still here. And what can I do then? I can, for example, say the shape for any of them. For example, I can say df HTML, please tell me your shape, number of rows and number of columns. Let me do for more of them. df JSON, what is your shape? D1. df SAS, what's your shape? 152,000 rows and 5 columns. df SQL, what's your shape? 50,000 rows and 26 columns. And finally, df Yahoo, what's your shape? 86 row columns and 86 rows and 65 columns. So I can do things with them. With all of them, I haven't lost any of them, so I can work with all those data frames. How to get the first 20 values of a column in our data frame here? Well, I can go and use the function head, but it is, if I simply do df head 20, it will give me the first 20. Remember, df is just the first one, the Yahoo. Let's use another one here. Gonna get the SAS one, that is the biggest one. df SAS with a lot of values here. df SAS. This is giving me from the 0 to 19. Remember, a data frame is in Python, it starts, the first line is named line 0. This is the first line. And then so it goes from 0 to 19. There are 20 lines. If I want to get a specific column here, let's say column distribution center, I have the option, the best option here should be to put a, this is for all columns. So this is for all columns, so this is all fine. But if I wanted to call a specific column here, I have to say name there, and it will give me all the values from that specific column. But this is how I do it for the SAS database. Let's do for the data frame, and let's do for another one. Let's say the Yahoo one. So in df Yahoo dot head 20, and here we go. We have all the data. First 20 rows of my data set. How do I get the data frame description? Well, for the statistical descriptions, I get to do df, let's say df Yahoo here, and I do describe, and describe will give me all the basic statistics, the summary statistics, count, mean, standard deviation, the minimum, the 25%, the 50%, that's the median, the 75%, and the max for all numeric variables. For example, forward PE here. And I can repeat that for df SAS. And then I get describe and just give me the statistical values for the numeric variables that I have, revenue, for example. I normally don't like too much the scientific notation that puts the numbers to be with plus 0.5. You have the option to set that display format to be with, let's say, 3 decimals here. And then if I repeat the code there, the df SAS, and after running this one, it will give me with a notation with 3 decimals in this case, or 2 decimals if you want. And that maybe it's, I think it's easier to read this way. So you can go and do that for you. So it's using pandas, PD, set options, display float format, and a little lambda here that transforms your data. So you just have to copy it here, this, and put it at the beginning of your code. It's very handy. How to find the frequency of labels into a data frame labels column, one that has text values. For example, here we have country in the Yahoo data frame. So in Yahoo data frame, I can go there and say data Yahoo and select the column country. This is all text. So if I go there and say value counts, it gives me the frequency. And all values are the same value in that column, so not very interesting. But maybe if I say sector will give me different values, so a little bit more interesting. If I select sectors here, and here we go, financial, healthcare. Let's do for another column, like another database. So like say SAS, DF SAS, and I get this distribution center here. So I select the column distribution center, and then I go there and say value count. If I want value count to be in percentage, I can say normalize equals to true, and that will give me the percentages. So it's around 5% in each area. And this is all that I had it for this the second session here, the exercise session for main session 2. Thank you very much. This is Manuel Gadi. This is CDAMB 4.